Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Rose here. I know I've been gone for at least a couple of weeks now. I haven't put a video out and I do apologize about that. But I am back, and today, as you can see, have a different hairstyle. I have braids in right now. So I got knotless braids on a couple of weeks ago, so you know, it's not my natural hair that's out per usual. But today I just want to talk to you guys about this whole quarantine situation and some ways that kind of helped me get through it. So just stay tuned and I will tell you guys exactly what I did and what my process was while I was in quarantine. So I would say about March, middle of March is when our office had to close down, and it was kind of like not a shock to us, but we kind of figured it was probably going to happen. But once it did happen, everyone was like, oh my gosh, like what are we going to do? Now we're going to have to, you know, go on unemployment, and we don't know how long this is going to last, and a lot of plans were getting canceled. So it was just a lot of figuring things out and maneuvering things around to basically adjust to the situation and to figure out what to do about future plans we had. So as I'm on the topic of future plans, one of the things that I had to do was kind of basically like cancel our whole ceremony, wedding ceremony. So I was in the process of planning at the beginning of the year. Like I had already had all my vendors booked, everything was booked, and I was making payments and deposits. And then once all this stopped working, so I wasn't working, my husband wasn't working, and I was just like, well, we don't know how long this is gonna last, so how about we just put everything on pause and just figure out what to do in this moment while we're in quarantine and we don't know how long this whole virus situation is gonna keep going on or last. So had to do that, and I could say I was kind of a little upset about it, but I was also like, okay, you know what, let me not be ungrateful. It could be worse, like someone I know or myself could have been sick or infected by this virus. So let me be grateful that, hey, I'm just at home and my plans are not gonna go as we wanted to, but we can always start the planning process again. We can always have a do-over at it. But the whole time while I was at home, for the first couple of weeks, I was starting to kind of get anxious and worried because one, both my husband and I were out of work, and we didn't know how the whole unemployment thing was going to happen because so many people was complaining about them not getting their benefits or them getting denied for the smallest things, or even the whole application process was just a pain. So I ended up doing the whole application process, and thank God it worked out fine for me. So I had that peace of mind while I was at home that, okay, yes, I will continue to pay my bills and do what I need to do financially. I don't have to worry about that for the meantime. But it was just kind of a little bit anxiety that we had going on at the beginning when all of this first started. And you know, a lot of people were at home, friends, family. Like I said before, the office I work at, you could say 90% of the staff were at home. Like we're only open for emergency visits. So a lot of us didn't step foot in the office again until, you know, medical offices were allowed to open back up. So while I was at home, as I was getting anxious and worried, and even though I had figured out the finance part, but it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like, okay, I can't just sit home all day and not do nothing. Let me find something and trying to give myself some kind of discipline, you know, give myself another routine while I'm at home. So even though I was at home, I wanted to create a routine for myself, and I wanted to just have something set every day that I knew I had to do and that I wanted to do, and to just kind of accomplish while I'm at home. So first thing I did was I started cooking more. I know a lot of people started doing that. I started trying different things, different recipes. If I was craving something, I'll just like go to Walmart or whatever at the hours that they were open, and I would buy whatever I needed to buy, and I'll cook whatever it is that I needed to cook. So cooking was like almost an everyday thing for me while we're in quarantine. So as a result of that, my husband ended up gaining a lot of weight. So I was just like, well, we're both at home and we have to eat, and I have a bunch of time on my hand, why not cook? So a lot of it was just cooking and cleaning. But then I realized, okay, I can't just sit here and cook and clean all day long. Like for like the last couple of hours of my day, or first couple of hours of my day, let me find something to just help me find peace of mind, and to kind of help keep me leveled and kind of take away some of that stress, and to just bring me back down to earth. So one of the things that I started doing, so I would say from April, the beginning of April, because I think I started staying home like mid-March. So by April, like, which was like almost 2 weeks after we've been told we had to stay home, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to just reconnect with God and kind of clear my head in a way, and to just start another chapter. So what I did was, I wanted to just have that time every day where I would either be praying and reading a verse or scripture. So what I did was, I believe I went on Pinterest. Yes, it was on Pinterest. I went on Pinterest and I found a list of prayer for the whole month of April. And so for the whole month of April, every single day I had a scripture to read, and then I would journal, like whatever my thought was about the scripture, whatever I understood from it, I would journal it and I would write it out. And once I would read it, I would read the whole chapter. Like, it would be like 1 or 2 verses that it gives you to read, but just so I could get a full understanding of whatever that topic they were talking about, I would read the whole chapter, and then I would write out my thoughts, and then how I would finish it off was I would just pray about it. And I did this every single day in April. So come May, I'm still home. So I was like, okay, well, I finished the month of April, I got to keep this going, because I like how I felt afterwards, the confidence that I gained from doing it. I like how that felt. So came May, I was like, okay, let me find one for May. So came May, I was doing 2 at this point. So 2 different ones for the month of May. So there was one that was more personal that I decided to do, and I did that one for the whole month of May also. And then there was another one where me and some other group of ladies, we decided to do together. So same thing, I made sure every single night I had enough time set out that I could read both scriptures, journal about both scriptures, and then do 2 different prayers. So once it was started, and I wanted to do this before midnight, because I technically, if I waited to midnight and it ran into midnight, that means it was the next day. So I wanted to do this at least once every day, and I made sure I did it before midnight. So once it was like 9-10 o'clock at night, I would just go in the room. Even if I was in the living room watching TV with my husband, I'll just go in the room and I'll tell him, just give me an hour or so to myself, or a couple hours to myself. Don't come in the room, just give me my space. So I would go in the room for that hour or 2, and I would read that first scripture and journal about it, pray about it, then I'll go ahead and read the second one. So I did this for the whole month of May also. And I basically did this up until the point where I returned back to work, like working like Monday through Friday. So I kept up with it, which I was proud of myself about, and it just kind of showed me the discipline that I could have if I applied myself. So a lot of times we say, oh, we don't have the time to read a whole scripture, or to like pray about a scripture, or to write out about it. All it took was literally 1 or 2 hours out of my day, and I made it happen. So that kind of like helped set the momentum, and I was like, okay, I like the feeling that I get out of this. I want to continue doing it. So I basically did it the whole quarantine time. Like, I was at home probably about 2 months or so, and it lasted, I think, up until I went back to work. So once I went back to work, it kind of like slowed down, because now my sleep schedule is different. Like, I was waking up at different hours of the day. Like, it was just, a lot of change in work schedule, because we had to like social distance, but at the same time we had to see patients. So it was a lot of things. Like, my schedule wasn't the same. Like, one day I'll be working morning, the next day I'm working afternoon. So it was a lot of changes that I'm still adjusting to with this whole going back to work after quarantine. But my whole takeaway from this quarantine thing was just me being able to find something to occupy myself with and keeping myself sane and helping reduce that level of stress. Because the first thing I started doing was worrying and stressing because, one, I was like, I don't know how long we're gonna be out of work, and I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah. Your mom is amazing to me.
Mommy,
She's a very amazing person.
Okay, yeah, so what I would say is, whenever you do like find a time where you have that free time and you feel like you're kind of falling off, just find a way to recalibrate yourself, find a way to bring yourself back in and get yourself back to stable grounds, basically. But now that I am back at work, it hasn't been as easy to like do the whole scripture thing every single night. So what I've been doing is I'll use the Bible app. So most of us have the Bible app on our phone. So now this is post quarantine. So what I do now is I'll find just a theme for the week. Like the app will give you different things. Like if you're anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if you're battling anxiety, like I said, or you're battling anger, you're battling something, there's at least one plan that you can do for the whole week to help you read and get through it and basically enlighten you on how to deal with those things. So even if you can't do the whole month now, like if you're back to work and your schedule's back to being busy and your sleep schedule is different, just go on the Bible app and find at least a plan for like at least 1 or 2 weeks out of the month that you can keep up with, and basically do the same thing. Like you read the scripture. They have like a little, I wouldn't call it a story, but they have basically like an analogy, something to help you understand what you just read in that scripture. And then of course you can do your own prayer about it. So that's one way to keep up with it, and that's one way I've been able to keep up with it, even though like sometimes I can't do the whole month. At least 1 or 2 weeks out of that month, I'll just find a topic or something that comes up in my mind. I'm like, let me read up more on this. Like it'll give you different Bible verses, it'll give you different summaries of it, and it's by different authors too, so you're not reading the same thing or from the same person every week or week after week. It's somebody else most of the time. But just one way that you can just keep up with it and be consistent with it, even if you can't do it for the whole month, like I said, because the first 2 months I did it, I was just at home. Like I didn't have no sleep schedule, so I could just do it any time of night or any time of day. I could make it happen. But since being out of quarantine and heading back to work, I've had to find a way to still do it, but it's not as intense, I would say, but it's still a way to do it. And it's just been a way for me to help kind of just stabilize my mind and not feel so stressed and so worried and just thinking about every negative thing that's going on around us right now. So like I said before, that was like one of the main ways I was able to just keep myself sane and keep myself okay and happy while we're in quarantine. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up, subscribe, or share with someone. So if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, go ahead and do so, and I will keep more content like this coming and different topics also. So just keep on watching and I'll have more for you guys. Thank you. Oh, did I just say thank you?
You did it again. Do the end. I can tell you turn your face
what?
Quick.
I revised.
Yeah, you probably did. I can just tell by the way you turn so fast. Okay, just do your ending.
Okay, so I hope you guys got a little insight of what I did to basically keep myself stable and above waters during this whole quarantine situation. So I did it, and I did it for like 2 months straight while being at home, and I'm sure if you guys apply yourself, you can do the same thing. So it's just all about finding what works for you and just getting that momentum built up, and you're gonna just get through a whole month and you're not even gonna realize it's been a whole month since you've been doing this. So thank you guys again for watching and tuning in. And like I said before, I know it's been a couple of weeks or so, but I'm gonna try to bring more videos for you guys within this next month. So keep on watching, and if you did like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, or share it with a friend. See you guys in the next one.